What I wanted to show you first was how I mix my Galkyd gel with my cold wax. And this cold wax that I'm using today is Dorland's. I normally use Gamblin, but I must have gotten this on sale. Dorland's is just as good. I like to use all Gamblin products. That way I know that everything is going to be good for each other. But Dorland's and Gamblin is fine, either or. What I've done is I have taken, I buy it in the gallons, but it comes in quarts and pints, and like this. This is a gallon size. So I take some out and put it in a smaller container, and I found this old container down here in the basement, so I'm going to use it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out onto my freezer paper. I'm going to take it all out, what I put in here. Make sure you get it all, because you want your Galkyd light and everything. Not just some of it. Okay, I have about 99.9% of it out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this out like so. Now you can mix the Galkyd light 50-50 with the cold wax. Now this is about an inch thin, about an inch thick, I should say. So what I'm going to do, and this is the Galkyd light, or Galkyd gel, and it comes from Gamblin. And I like the gel. It comes in a liquid as well, but I prefer the gel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread some of this all over the whole thing. Now if I wanted to do it 50-50, I would do an inch thick of this. I don't want to do it 50-50. I like it more like 25 to 75%. So I'm using almost this entire container. Now I'm going to mix this really well. And this will probably end up being about 20% Galkyd gel. What does Galkyd gel do to the cold wax? First of all, the big reason why I use it is because it makes my cold wax dry faster. It also gives your cold wax a sheen, a slight sheen. Normally cold wax on itself will give you a matte finish. But if you have Galkyd gel in your cold wax to begin with, it will give it a slight sheen. Now this by far is not mixed up enough yet. You want to mix it really well. Takes the gel is kind of a golden gel, and it takes the whiteness away from the cold wax. It's not quite as white as what it was. I'm still mixing. It's just about there. Keep mixing it until there's no pockets at all of the Galkyd gel in it, and I think it's pretty well mixed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in my container. So whenever I take out of this particular container, I know this wax already has the Galkyd gel in it. And I will usually label it so I don't get confused. Because once you start a painting that you've used Galkyd gel into your cold wax, you should continue. In other words, you don't want just cold wax and some wax with Galkyd gel in it. You want with no Galkyd gel or all with Galkyd gel. As long as I keep the lid on this, it will stay forever. Not forever, ever. You know what I mean. It'll stay for a long, long time. I'll use this up before it won't dry out. But so that's one with Galkyd gel. You don't have to put Galkyd gel into your cold wax. You can just use plain cold wax. I did that for years, but I came across this Galkyd gel and why cold wax artists are using it, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. So I would say 9 times out of 10, I have, my cold wax has Galkyd gel in it, unless I run out of Galkyd gel. So now what I'll do after I'm done today, I'll put a piece of masking tape on this and write on there that this has the Galkyd gel on it, in it. So, and now I'm getting ready to get my colors out. I'm going to show you how I mix my paint, and then I'm going to mix the rest of my paints, and I will show you what colors they are. But I don't want to bore you with mixing all of my paint. Now, I usually start 50-50, and this is not quite 50-50 with the white. And the white that I'm using is my favorite white. It's not titanium white. It's Gamblin's Flake White Replacement. You can see that. It's flake white, but it's a replacement for it. It's non-toxic. It's very white, and Gamblin makes it. I use this over titanium white because titanium white is a little toxic, I think. So that's the white that I use. Put some here. I'm not quite finished with that yet. And this is the cold wax that I just mixed up. So I'm going to mix this up really well. And you don't want, stirring is not going to do anything. What you want to do is smash it. Scrape it up and smash. Scrape and smash. Scrape and smash. I want some of this white that I mix in with this black. And I want to make a gray. Scrape and smash. I want to get some more white. Not as light as I want it to be. I do use my gray to mix in with colors. Still not enough of white. I had too much black in it. I have some pure white over here. I just want a nice medium gray. Still not quite light enough. That should do it. I'll probably end up, before I'm finished, making up more white. Okay, that's about right. Then what I usually do is I scrape it all into a neat pile. Now sometimes I start out with just 2 colors plus black and white, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to use several different colors. So I want to wipe off my palette knife. I'm going to mix up the black. Again, it's about 50-50. And this is lamp black. I buy whatever, it doesn't matter to me if it's ivory black, lamp black, Morris black. To me, black is black. There's a carbon black. I guess carbon black is your blackest. I'm not sure. But one's a little bit warmer to me. You know, they say one's a little bit warmer, one's a little bit cooler, but to me, black is black. I'm not fussy about that. Okay, there's my black. Scrape it up into a nice pile. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some other colors, and I'll let you know what all they are. Oh, here's some warm white, and it's right at the end, and what I use is one of these gadgets. Make sure that you get the metal one. The plastic one, I tried the plastic one and it broke immediately. So you don't want the plastic. The metal, I've had this metal one for years. And you can see how it helps to push all of that paint up to the top of the tube. Wow, that's hard as a rock. I didn't have a lid on it. And what I use is a skewer. That's really hard. That's my dumb fault. Okay, now I'm gonna, this is warm white. I use this all the time. I love this warm white color. So now I'm going to, once again, wipe my palette knife and get all that black off. I want about 50%, not quite 50. Okay, that's about 50%, and then I'm just going to mix this up. Scrape and smash. Just remember that. That's the only way you're going to get it really mixed well. Okay, now that's my warm white. Isn't that a pretty color? You can see how much warmer that is than that. It's a beautiful color. Okay, I'm going to mix up some yellow ochre too. I may as well do it right now. And then I'm going to mix up the rest of my colors. That's yellow ochre, Gamblin's yellow ochre. If you get more than 50%, no big deal. If you get less than 50%, your paint's going to act more like oil paint as opposed with cold wax. It's not going to dry as nearly as quickly as what it will with more cold wax in it. So just remember, the more wax you put in, the more transparent the paint becomes. So you can even make a glaze out of this by just taking a little bit, let's say like that. Putting a lot of wax into that little bit. And that, can you see how much lighter this is than that? Because this has very little color on it, and then when you put it on, it will act like a glaze. So I'm just going to mix that in with this. No big deal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix the rest of my colors, and I will tell you what colors I'm using. Well, I've decided to do my Indian yellow because I want to show you how I work with my Indian yellow. And that's a gambling color. That's about 50% right there. You can see, and this is very, very transparent. This makes a beautiful glaze. You can see how transparent it is on the freezer paper. But if I take a little bit, put it right here, put some white in with it, it becomes yellow. Isn't that amazing? I love Indian yellow. And I can even go lighter if I want. I mean, that's like a medium cad yellow. So we'll take a little bit of that. We'll put more white into it. It becomes a pale yellow. I don't buy many yellows. I get that Indian yellow. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to mix my other colors, and then we'll get mixing up my paint, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did. This is my pure white over here, and that's the flake white replacement. These are 2 shades of gray. It's a darker gray, and here I put a little bit more white in it, so on this edge of it, it's a little bit lighter. This is black. It is, no, it's not ivory, lamp black. This is a warm white, yellow ochre, Indian yellow. Indian yellow with some white in it to make it more like a cad dark, cad yellow dark. And this is like a pale yellow with, it's the Indian yellow with lots more white added into it. And this is asphaltium. And this is by Gamblin. I'm sure you cannot read it because it's all messed up, but it's asphaltium. Here is asphaltium with a little bit of yellow ochre in it and a little bit of Indian yellow in it. Chinese orange. Chinese orange is one of my favorite colors. It is a Sennelier color. Very, very transparent. And this is Chinese orange with a little bit of warm yellow, a warm white, and a little bit of Indian yellow. So that's made a lighter color. Here we have ultramarine blue and ultramarine blue with white in it. Now I'm going to move my camera up because I have more colors here. Just about see it all. Okay, there we go. So you saw the ultramarine blue and ultramarine blue with white. Phthalo blue with some white. Phthalo blue with a lot of white. This blue is the ultramarine blue that has white in it, and some of the phthalo blue that has white in it mixed together. So here's a blue that harmonizes with all of these blues. And then over here are the greens. This green is ultramarine blue mixed with Indian yellow. And that's the beautiful green that you get. This is that green with some white in it. So it is ultramarine blue, Indian yellow, and white. This green here is phthalo blue and Indian yellow. You can see it's a warmer blue. This is this phthalo blue, Indian yellow, and white. Then we have sap green with white. This is sap green with some Indian yellow in it. And then this is Gamblin Chartreuse. You can't even read it anymore. It's Gamblin Chartreuse with just plain, and here it is with some white. Now, what I might do is mix all of these greens together, like this, and that, and a little bit of that, and I'll get a separate green. Let's do that right now. Put some here. Put some of this here. Put some of this here. Now there's a green with all of the greens together. Now if I wanted to, I didn't put any chartreuse in it. Let's put some chartreuse in it, see what happens. It just warms it up a little bit. So those are my colors. Now I will probably end up mixing some purple up too, because I do have purple in my sky. I didn't put any purple down, so maybe we'll put a little bit of purple right there. So I'm going to get started very soon. Hope you enjoyed that color mixing.